up, everyone? It's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another weekly edition of Alter News. Pretty much what it's saying down below here, discussing alternative news from pop culture and the internet. This is pretty much what this weekly live stream is all about. How are you guys all doing this fine Sunday day? I see some of you already in the chat. James Tyler, hey up. Nerd Report in the house. Hello, Lewis. Lewis and the guys, Jodie's Corner and Andy at Popcorn Planet had a lot of fun this week in Vegas. Good. It was very good. Those streams, you guys, were nuts. Oh my goodness. So, probably an understatement, to be fair, but pretty much what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas, but instead gets completely streamed live on Jodie's Corner. It's pretty much the way that Lewis termed it. And I would certainly agree with your assessment there, mate. Oh my goodness, it was nuts. But yes, Nerd Report in the house. Hello, my friend. And Darth Haster, i.e. just Haster. Hello, hello, hello. Hey up, Steph. Hey up, Pastor! Yes! But yeah, how are you guys all doing? This week for me has been quite hectic one. I've been doing a lot of behind the scenes stuff for Andy and Popcorn Planet. So that was a lot of fun, to be fair. I kind of felt a little bit more like I was a part of the Vegas experience situation going on. But yeah, did a little bit of background stuff for him. It's all good, but that took up a little bit of my time. What else happened? Well, new videos from me earlier on this week. One that I'm extremely proud of is my YouTube short for the Spider-Man situation that I did. I did that on a whim, you guys. Like, when it got leaked and I was seeing all the memes on Twitter with the Spider-Man trailer leak, I just had this idea of putting some of these memes together for it to kind of have some sort of cohesive-ish story of the leak happened. This is how Marvel dealt with it. This is how Sony was dealing with it, and ended up the leaker got caught. It's kind of like my, my rationale behind that video. And I thought, oh, okay, let me just sort it out. So I shiz you not, I did it all on my phone, edited it the whole lot, released it on my phone. I shiz you not. I use a program for anyone that's interested called Premiere Rush. That's the one that I use for all my editing stuff on my actual phone, specifically just for YouTube Shorts is what I'd use it for, really, to be fair. But I did it literally all on my phone, and it got like over 2,000 views. Oh my goodness, I'm so proud of that. Some of these Alter News segments have lifted off as well. The one that I did, I think, a couple of weeks back with Deadpool and Bambi, it's like my highest viewing video yet. So for everyone in the Alter Nerd tribe that's been sharing, liking, commenting, spreading the word, thank you so much, because it's helping our community and this channel so much. And if you haven't done so already and you're watching live and you're thinking, I like a little bit of this Steph lass, I'd like to know more and find out more and figure out what the deuce is going on, well, why don't you like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and subscribe essentially to join the Alter Nerd tribe, because that's where the fun is, right here on this channel. Not guaranteed, but there you go. But James Tyler saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except the peas. That shiz goes back with you. Yes, it does. And Hasta says exactly that goes everywhere. LOL. Yes. Okay. Well, with that being said, let's jump into it and go on to the main topic of today's stream, which is this situation. Yeah. Your eyeballs are shizzing you not. There was going to be potentially an R-rated James Cameron Spider-Man movie. Nuts. This is from Giant Freaking Robot, and as soon as I saw this article, I was like, yoink, that is definitely going in the Alter News segment. It's by Rick Gonzalez. And yeah, apparently James Cameron had already chosen his Peter Parker, Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Guys, would you have wanted to see Leo himself as Peter Parker? I personally can't see him being Peter Parker, to be fair. But, yeah, that was potentially the plan. So what happened was in 1990, Caroloco Pictures, hopefully I pronounced that right, had purchased the rights to Spider-Man and planned on allowing for a $50 million budget for a Spider-Man film. James Cameron penned the script, along with John Brancato, Ted Newsom, Barry Cohen, and Joseph Goldmardy, which was a typographical error of Manahem Golan's pen name, Joseph Goldman. Oh, okay, fair enough. I suppose as we are, let's say, reading this through, the topic, let me get my shiz straight. Like, seriously, I swear, Steph, come on, get your words out right. Let me try that again. As we are reading this article, the question in the minds for you lot to answer in the chat is, would you have wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to be Spider-Man? Yes, no, and why? Do let me know. But let's get back to this situation. So, first and foremost, it should be noted that Cameron's story was going to be R-rated. The film was going to carry an R rating for the coarse language, violence befitting a comic book, and apparently a graphic, I'm not going to say this out loud, but boom boom scene. Oh yes, there was going to be some bumpy boom booms going on apparently, to include spiderweb bondage between Spider-Man and Mary Jane. And apparently James Cameron had lined himself up a very high-profile cast, along with a confirmed Leonardo DiCaprio. James Cameron had recruited the likes of, get this, Kevin Spacey as Norman Osborn and Green Goblin. Nikki Cox and Robin Lively were said to be in the running for Mary Jane. Katharine Hepburn, wow, that's a big one, and Maggie Smith were also in talks to play Aunt May. Ali Ermey and Michael Douglas were said to be looking at the J. Jonah Jameson role. And, I don't know how to pronounce this, so again, apologies for butchering this to high hell, but Robert Guillaume was signed on apparently to play Robbie Robertson. Then you had Lance Henriksen, who was set to play Carlton Strand, the character renamed from the comic book character Max Dillon, who becomes Electro. Michael Biehn was also on board as Boyd, another renamed character who in the comic book went by Flint Marko, aka Sandman, but apparently Terminator himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Cameron had talked Arnie into playing Otto Octavius, aka Doc Ock. Wow. That's like a pretty kind of awesome cast there, you guys. I'm quite impressed with that. The die was cast, production took a step forward. They got the script, they had the direction, they employed organic web shooters versus the shooters Parker invented in the comic books, apparently, according to this article. In James Cameron's eyes, although Parker was a science nerd in high school, he felt that developing such a device along with webbing that would stick anywhere would be above Parker's pay grade. So instead, he decided to go with the organic approach. What he did do, though, was have Parker invent fake web shooters to disguise the fact that the real webs came from Parker's body. Another fact James Cameron Cameron decided to touch on was that Spider-Man became a TV star, wanting to make some money. Peter Parker created his Spider-Man costume and would show up at parties to perform. He was then invited to a popular variety show where his performance was caught by Strand, who wanted to bring him into his criminal escapades. I do not like that whatsoever. No. Spider-Man is like a TV star in this movie. Like, I love the element of the casting situation. Like, that would have been fun as hell. Apart from Leonardo DiCaprio Spider-Man, I'm sorry, I still can't see it. Even like Leo, like young days, like Titanic, Romeo and Juliet days, him at that point being Peter Parker Spider-Man, I don't see it. I don't know about you, but my answer to the main question for this topic is no. I wouldn't have bought the whole Leonardo DiCaprio being Spider-Man Peter Parker situation. Leo was just too pretty. I know that's kind of awful to say, but a Peter Parker for me needs to be looking a little bit geeky, and Leo just doesn't have that geekiness look to him, not even like a smidge. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's like people think that Andrew Garfield was too much of a pretty boy and not enough geekiness in him, you know? I think that was kind of like going along that same rationale for Leo, if that makes sense. But anyway, going back to the article here, Cameron's version of Peter Parker also showed him, as Cameron describes in his treatment, get this, as your basic sexually pent up adolescent. Love the idea of the cast. Hate how this story kind of is. It's like, oh my freaking goodness. Like, you're what? I don't want to see that. No disrespect. I want to see him fight Green Goblin. I want to see him fight Doc Ock. I want to see him fight Electro. I don't want this whole kind of, I don't know, the Hills kind of adolescent drama kind of situation that is kind of, for me, it's touching upon here. Like, no, I want to see that. It's like, what the deuce? I think it's a good thing this didn't get made in the end. Like I say, casting, I'm on board with that, apart from the Peter Parker, Leo DiCaprio situation. But this story is just freaking what James Cameron was planning. I'm glad it didn't take off. So I like how the writer says this. So with a Peter Parker looking to get his rocks off, a fake Electro, yeah, a fake Sandman, and a real Doc Ock, what could go wrong? Everything, right? Granted, the changes and tact of the script may have strayed from the original Spider-Man, but apparently, according to the writer, this was James Cameron's deal and it was in good hands. No, it was not. No, I can say with absolute certainty that personally for me, if this movie was actually made and was actually in existence, I would hate the shiz out of this film. Again, casting apart from Leo, inspired. The storyline and the R-rated kind of vision it was going, no, and no. Anyway, moving on. The article goes on to say, as with everything revolving around Carolco Pictures in the early 90s, James Cameron's Spider-Man suffered the same fate. Thank goodness for that. It's unfortunate because before Carolco fell onto hard times, they were actually known for producing some fairly big movies. So you got your T2. They also produced the first 3 Rambo movies as well as Total Recall. Yep. But by the early 90s, the company was on a downfall that they'd never recover from. Now, the writer of this article asks himself, could it have worked? Now, let's see what he thinks to all this. He says possibly. Way to sit on the fence, dude. James Cameron has been known to churn out a decent film or two. Okay, maybe more. Haha, whatever, jokes, I suppose. But the changes he was trying to employ in his R-rated version of Spider-Man may not have taken hold with Spider-Man fans of the early 90s. This may not take hold with fans of today. Okay, right. That conclusion's weak. Could it have worked? Possibly. It's like the dude sitting on fence and it's like, I'm not going to say either way. No, freaking make a decision and say, would it have worked or not? Yes or no. Don't take the bussy way out and be like, possibly. That's just sitting on the fence. That's just ridiculous, right? Oh, this is Samson, guys. He's saying hello. Oh, my puppy. Hello, Samson. Oh, now you're booting the mic. Oh, I know. Oh, hello, Samson. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Samson is the unofficial co-host of today's stream. Oh, hello, my boo-boo. But yeah, where was I? So, yes. Seriously, it's a pussy way out. Freaking sitting on the fence saying possibly. Either yes or no. Would it have worked or not? Literally have a backbone and pick a side. And I've got a backbone and I'm turning around and I'm saying personally for me, no, it would not have worked. Even though the cast is inspired, and again, I'll say it until I blew him in the face. Casting Leo DiCaprio as Spider-Man would have been a huge mistake just in of itself. The storyline and the situation in terms of the R-rated stuff of where that was heading. No, I don't want to see that kind of Spidey film. Like, it doesn't work for me at all. So, could it have worked? I'm going to have a backbone and I'm going to say, hell no, it couldn't have worked for all those reasons I've pretty much told you. What are you guys saying in the chat? So, let me just scroll up here. Let me see. Oh, here we go. So, James Tyler says Electro and Sandman were going to be villains. Yes. Electro was going to be named Carlton and the villains were more mutants. Yep. It was going to be like 80s MTV generation with the high school vibe. Yeah, so kind of like what I was saying earlier on with the whole like the Hills, OC kind of. It kind of felt like it's, in terms of that article and the story, it was kind of going down that route, but it would be more R-rated with like literally the spider bondage situation that's going on. It's a freaking ridiculous. And James Tyler says, and Peter and MJ were going to have the bumpies, the boom booms, on top of the Brooklyn Bridge. Ugh. No. Yeah, exactly, Hasta. No, I agree. James Tyler agrees with me as well. Leo's a great actor, but he's too handsome for Peter. Can't see him as a nerdy Peter. Exactly. Yes. I don't mean any disrespect, but that, you know, it's a preconception. It's an image of Peter Parker. He's young, but he's nerdy. Like, yeah, Leo doesn't look nerdy at all. Especially, you know, back in his younger years. My goodness. Hasta says that he still likes Toby Spidey. I do. But Spider-Man 3 is dead to me. Like emo Spidey? No, we don't. I don't play with him. I'm not a fan. Yeah, James Tyler, Carlton Strands, that's the name. And James also says Toby is fine as hell, Daff. They're all right. James also says that's part of the origin. He went from wrestler to TV star. Then he went to see the manager for his pay. Manager gypped him. Peter let the robber go, etc., etc. Yeah, that might be, you know, the origin as such, so to speak. But the way that James Cameron, in terms of what he was going to do based on this story, was, I think it was going to be more like, I mean, let's just go back here. It was that Spider-Man became a TV star. Spider-Man became a TV star, wanting to make some money. Peter Parker created his Spider-Man costume and would show up at parties to perform. Then invited to a popular variety show where his performance was caught by Strand, who wanted to bring him into his criminal escapades. It's like, to me, that's screaming of like the dude wanting to be like a reality star of sorts, like trying to be a celebrity, but really like with James Cameron honing in on that, rather than it just being like a side kind of story of, yeah, this was slightly his origin, but let's move on now. I think there was going to be a lot of focus based on that article of him being this TV star. That's the bit that I don't jive with. There shouldn't be that much focus on that, but to each their own. James Tyler, was going to be like 80s MTV, typical teenage issues. Yeah, but I don't want to... When I go to movies, especially for a superhero movie, I want there to be an element of escapism. I don't want this whole realism of typical teenage issues. I can watch like The Breakfast Club for something like that. Do you know what I mean? Spider-Man, I want escapism. I want a sense that, you know, it's not in the real world. There's a bit of fantasy about it. So, yeah, can't get on board with that. Hasta says Leo played a slow boy in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Got nominated for Oscars for his role on Gilbert Grape. Yeah, which is absolutely fine. I'm not doubting his acting skills because he has the skills. Of course he does. But what I am saying is that the look of Peter Parker, for me, don't jive with Leo DiCaprio at all. Leo DiCaprio's too pretty for a Peter Parker role. James says there were rumours that Cameron was going to direct the next Spider-Man film because he brought up the project before Webb took over. Ah, okay. Well, to be fair, for me, I think then it's a good thing that he didn't do that after all. Because I'm not a fan of this R-rated situation at all. Funny Pump says, hello all. Hey up, Funny Pump. How do? Funny Pump also says, I'll take James Cameron's Spider-Man over Garfield's Spider-Man. I'd humbly disagree. Sorry, dude. I'd be the other way around. Garfield over James Cameron's Spider-Man. Sorry, dude. James Tyler, though, says, I think Cameron would have done great. It would be like Batman 89, where it was a good film, but there were deviations from the source material. The way that he wanted to do it R-rated, though, and, you know, the boom boom scene and all that lot, I'm still not swayed, James. I'm sorry. I'm not. Dude. Bunda in the house. Hello, Bunda. Hey up, my friend. Hey up, hey up, hey up. Samson Shoo Shoo. Samson was my unofficial co-host of today's edition of Alter News Live. Heir of Bunda, James Tyler. Funny Pump says Samson disagrees, that's why he jumped on this. Probably, actually. Samson's a little bit of a Giticus Maximus, really. He'll disagree on me with everything, pretty much. So, yeah, that's a fair assessment, Funny Pump, absolutely. Bunda says, by the way, Will Morris isn't here because he got evicted from his trailer park. Oh, when are you getting evicted from your trailer park, Bunda? Open. Probably not, but that's the first thing that came into my head, and I stand by it. Can't pay, we'll take it away, dude. Anyways, Funny Pump, Cameron utilises the R rating in a more action-orientated way. Well, the story that I read, it's more in the boom boom, bumpies of the bumpies with the man and girl kind of situation. So with the Spider-Man story that he drafted up anyway. So I'm just not a fan. Nothing's being said at the moment where it's swaying me. But I my mind is always open to have it changed. Absolutely. Matthew Corbin in the house. Hello. Hi. Hello. Good day. Hey up. Hey up, my friend. Hello. The A up invasion has arrived. James Tyler says, now granted, that doesn't mean nerdy can't go into handsome. It's a progression. His origin is akin to a coming of age story. Yes, but part of it is he's a nerd. He looks nerdy. Like there's literally that aesthetic to Peter Parker when he was younger and starting out. So, you know, there you go. Bunda says Spider-Man 3 is great. You would. Nerd Report Lewis says Tom Holland is not a good Peter Parker. Fight me, LOL. I don't think he is. I agree. I don't think he's a good Peter Parker. I really don't. If I have to choose a Peter Parker, good Spider-Man, I do have to admit Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire is the best out of them. Sadly, you know, I wish I could say Tom Holland, in a way, but nah, Tom Holland didn't do it for me. Bundapark. Yes, Nerd Report Lewis. Catching on with the Bundapark. Yes. And Bunda replies, Nerd Report, of course. Funny punk Nerd Report, I got you back. Oh, Philip the Fool, Philip Toscano in the house. Hey, Stef. Hey, up, Phil. How's it going, dude? James Tyler says Holland's more of the ultimate comic stroke cartoon version where he's more of a teenager. Yeah. Matthew Coburn getting in on the Bundapark situation. And Bunda says, by the way, Nerd Report is still walking in Vegas. Yeah, but you know what? He had a good time. And Lewis, I loved those streams that you did, where you just walk around in Vegas and you just be chatting to us and just chilling out. Because literally, like, as you're doing that, I'm waking up in the morning. It's like, what, 7 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, and I'm waking up to one of your live streams. And as I'm starting work, majority of the time I'm lucky enough that I'm able to work from home when I want to. So all this week I worked from home, and I'd put on my work laptop, and I'd also put on Big Bertha as well, and I'd have you guys in the background with Lewis and his stream and everything. And the last stream that he did from Vegas, the karaoke stream, was freaking awesome. That was epicness and legendary as far as I'm concerned. And so hearing you guys wail in the background singing these songs as I'm trying to work, it was a ridiculous kind of moment and situation, but one that I live for over and over again. So there you go. Now, what else are you saying before we get on to the next article? James Tyler says his ultimate version is more immature than other versions. The cartoon really puts an emphasis on his immaturity, but hey, Disney wanted to make Spider-Man more relatable to kids. Disney wants to do a lot of things. Some for the good and most of it for the bad. Guys, just to give you a bit of a heads up, I've got it all planned. I will be filming tomorrow my Marvel rant. I got things to say, but I've planned it all, got all my notes down. So yeah, I'll be filming that tomorrow, so watch out for an edition of Alter Ants, because I'm gonna go off, guys. I got things to say. Now, Funny Pump says that resentment of a failed TV actor would be a good motivating factor for when he gets the Venom suite. Yeah, but how do I put this? I am, and I've always said this, and I make no bones about it, I'm a basic nerd, okay? And what I mean by that is you guys know more than me, okay? You really, really do. You know more of the origin stories, the theories, characters. You know more than me. I'll always freely admit that, right? What I've got is a mouthy gob, and I'm not afraid to use it, but that's by the by. This whole thing of Spider-Man and his origins partly being this TV situation, right? I can guarantee you that in the outside our circle of geekdom, nerddom, pop culture, if you go to someone on the street who will obviously know the existence of Spider-Man and ask them the question, did Spider-Man's origins partly reside in TV situation? Or however you want to ask that question. I guarantee you, majority are going to say no. The general public don't know these kinds of origins, don't know these kinds of like little side routes, right? So you introducing that into a film, going to alienate the general public that, no disrespect, that's where the bulk of the money's coming from, right? When it comes to ticket sales, DVD sales, all that lot. So going really, really niche like that on a story where the general population is not familiar with that particular aspect of the origin story, for me, is bad idea. Bad idea, indeed. But anyways. That is my opinion, my philosophy, my theory, my whatever. Why did that jump? There we go. James Tyler. I'm sure Cameron would have done some things different from his treatments, but his Spider-Man film would have been kick-ass in the early 2010s. Based on what I've read, no, still not. Bunda doesn't live in a trailer. Good to know. James Tyler, Bunda lives in the Bunda cave. Yes! Bunda in his Bunda cave. Yes! Bunda Park and the Bunda Cave. I love it. I love it. Everyone knows this. They do now. Isholocos in the house. What up? What up, Isholocos? Hey up, my friend. Funny pump. Toby forever. Yeah, I've got to admit. Tobey Maguire's my Spider-Man. James Tyler liked Spider-Man 3 and liked it even back in 07 where everyone hated it. It's weird to see people liking Spider-Man 3 now, even with the dance. I still don't like Spider-Man 3. I still hate it with a passion. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of Spider-Man 3. To me, it's a situation where it's too many cooks in a freaking kitchen. There were too many characters. It's like they've just bundled everyone together and there wasn't enough time to explain anything. And the story was so freaking spread out too much and so weak that, oh no, like seriously. People retrospectively are loving Spider-Man 3. All right, fair enough. Their prerogative, whatever. Me, no. I didn't like Spider-Man 3 then. I still don't like Spider-Man 3 now. The film's not changed. Like, seriously, why would I all of a sudden like start liking a film that I didn't like when it first came out? Like, I don't get it, but whatever. People can change their mind. I appreciate that. But for me, mind is not changed. I still do not like Spider-Man 3. I'm not a fan. It's one of the reasons why with this Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that's not seen. And if anyone wants to know any spoilers or any exclusive information about Spider-Man 3, and it's ignore on Popcorn Planet is where it's freaking at, people. He's been getting all sorts of scoops on this film. He's the one that's giving it to you first, you guys. So hop on over to his channel to find out all the scoops and exclusives for this. But the amount of characters that are going to be in the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, I am scared. And it's because I don't want it to be a repeat of Spider-Man 3 where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many freaking characters, and the storyline suffers for it. I really, really hope Sony knocks it out of the park and it's a freaking fantastic movie. But I have to admit to myself and to you guys, I got some reservations about it. And that's the biggest one. One Shot in the house. What's up, Steph? Hey up, One Shot. How's it going, mate? I did get your message from last night, but I'd fallen asleep, so sorry, dude. I've got a story for you guys in a moment. I'll explain all that in a moment. Just reminding myself. Buddy Pump says, I didn't mind Spider-Man 3, but you could feel the rush in the movie. Yeah, the storyline suffered for the amount of characters that they just freaking crammed into that movie, really, in my opinion. James Tyler says, it's weird for me to say both Spider-Man 3 and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 suffer the same issues, but I still like 3. All right. I guess it shows how Raimi is more experienced compared to Mark Webb. Well, yeah, that's a given, James. I certainly agree with you on that score. Fair play to you, mate. Funny Pump says the karaoke stream was a great stress reliever. Oh my goodness, that karaoke stream was a laugh a minute reliever kind of situation. I can't believe it. And when Andy sang A Whole New World, yes, loved it. Loved it. Wish I could have been there with you guys. Oh my goodness. But like I've been saying, as soon as Joe Biden allows us British to come over and step over the borderline, then you know I'm making plans to come over and visit you guys. And it'll be freaking awesome when that happens. I hope it's going to be like next year. I don't think it's going to be this year. No, I think Biden will still think we're basically too diseased to come over. My conspiracy, my theory, my what's it, my whatever. But yes, Lewis's streams were the best. Yes, they were, Matthew. As were Jodie's Corner and Andy's as well. Matthew Coburn says, under 6 hours must be a record stream. Yeah, it went on for quite a while, didn't it? Philip the Fool, Philip Toscano. Steph, would you mind taking a moment to explain your background and those list of movies to me, please? And Latino Slant in the house. Paulie, holla, Steph. Hey up. Hey up, my friend. How's it going, dude? Okay, so, Phil. My background. Basically this. It's technically a green screen that literally attaches to the back of my seat there, right? So I initially used it as a green screen, but the program that I used would only like capture in 720 and didn't like that. I don't like the quality of 720. I like nice 1080 kind of situation, right? But I couldn't find a program that would do that. So instead, what I did was I went onto Amazon and I pretty much put in like little mini in the search bar, little mini movie posters, right? And I saw this pack of like movie cards, and I thought, sold. So I bought a pack of movie cards, and I got some sellotape, and I taped them all on my green screen. That is the story and my explanation of the movies in the background. I didn't choose them. They were just part of a pack just to make my background look a little bit more legit. Because without this background, you would see the background of my actual office. Now, this side of the office is all me, and it's very pretty much tidy, organised, ordered. Everything's in a certain place. You know how anal I can get when it comes to organisation and stuff, so there you go. The other side of the office, right behind me, is Richard's side, my partner's. Now, each to their own. His is more of, let's say, an organised mess. And I didn't want that for my background, you guys. So, yeah, I went a little bit creative. Tried a green screen. Didn't work for me. So instead, pretty much Amazon Googled mini movie posters. Found a pack of movie cards of 50 for like a $5, bought them, got some sellotape, stuck them on, ta-da! Instant background. There you go. So that's... yeah, Philip says that he figured there was a deeper meaning behind it. No deeper meaning. And quite literally, I didn't even like... I basically just sellotaped them on. Like, there's no even rhyme or reason as to where each of those cards are. I just took one from the top of the pack and just taped it on. Took the other one and just taped it on. So yeah, that's the story of my background. But yeah, you asked, so there's the answer there. James Tyler, why do you have the movies in the background? I see you have Cat in the Hat there. Do you love the Cat in the Hat movie? No, I don't. But it's there because it was just part of the 50-pack kind of card situation that I got. But I do like a lot of the movies. So Clueless here. I love Clueless, you guys. Pulp Fiction, of course, I love Pulp Fiction. Dark Knight, I love Dark Knight. We've got Titanic that I love. Queen's Gambit. Oh, that is amazing series on Netflix. Absolutely adored that. Mean Girls, my freaking jam when I was in high school. It's your equivalent of high school, let's say, you guys. We got Home Alone. There we go. Home Alone, of course. Jurassic Park, hell yes. Avengers Endgame, yeah, I like it. Beetlejuice, of course. Bohemian Rhapsody, love. I love Queen. And we'll get on to Queen in a minute because that's actually the next article that I've got. Devil Wear Prada, when I can get there. There we go. Love that film. Harry Potter, of course. So yeah, there's a couple that I do like, a couple that I don't like, but they were just part of the pack, so there you go. That's the story of that, you guys. One show, haha, no sweat, there's always next time. Thank you. Clueless and Pulp Fiction are classics. They are. They are. I love them. But yeah, before we get on to the next article, which is actually about Queen. So there you go, right there. So yesterday, I was supposed to go on live and continue my adventure with you guys of watching Cobra Kai for the first time ever. We're on season 2 at the moment. And that didn't happen for one simple reason. The night before, my iPad went completely kaput. So a couple of weeks back, my screen was starting to get dodgy. So instead of going back to the place that I got it fixed originally, like twice over, I thought, screw that, dude, I'm going somewhere else. So there's a place next door to the city that I'm in called iSmash. So I went there and they've got this warranty situation, which there's nowhere else that I know that does it. They'll fix it. And if there's anything that goes wrong with it in the future, lifetime warranty, take it back, they'll fix it again for free if it's the same issue. Thought, brilliant. So they fixed it. Everything seemed to be all right. The screen, though, started to lift up again off my iPad. And it got to a point where on Friday night, when I was watching Jodie's Corner stream, the screen just went. Like, it just went, right? So I started to panic because that iPad is pretty much part like my life at nighttime. I've been in and out of hospital, you guys, so much because of my pancreatitis that I cannot sleep now with silence. I have to have noise in the background to be able to sleep. And that's where this iPad comes in. It helps me sleep. Also helps me as well when I do have pancreatitis attacks, something for me to focus on and stuff like that. I won't bore you with details. So yesterday I went back to the place iSmash, and seriously, they mean it when they say lifetime freaking warranty, because I went in, showed them what happened, and they were like, yeah, give us 3-4 hours, come back to us and it'll be done. And true to the word, it was. And they fixed it again, didn't have to pay him a penny, and so hopefully that'll be it now. But yeah, that's basically why it was an emergency yesterday for me to get that done, because it means now that tonight I can actually get a good night's sleep and have my iPad in the background again. So yay. And Bunda says, just buy a new one. Well, if you PayPal me about $800, then yeah, I'll buy a new one. How about that? Dude. Anyway, let's stop boring you on the details of my iPad adventure, and let's get on to the next article, which, speaking about Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie, I saw this and I just thought, damn, I didn't know this, but apparently Queen and David Bowie wrote Under Pressure while drunk and then forgot about it. Now, as I'm going through this article, the question for this segment is, I'll just put it simple, what's your favourite Queen movie? I'll let you know as we go along what my favourite Queen movie. Wow, I'm so not with it today. What's your favourite Queen song? That is the question for this article, for this segment. What is your favourite Queen song? I will let you know as we progress through the article what my favourite Queen song is, you guys. But apparently pizza was also to blame for the memory lapse over the musical masterpiece. So according to the latest episode of Queen the Greatest, a 50-week YouTube series celebrating key moments in the band history. Using a series of recent and archival interviews with those involved, the episode tells a story of how Queen were joined in Montreal, Switzerland by Bowie, and a night of fooling around in the recording studio resulted in a #1 single. It all started with a phone call, and Bowie recording the footage. So I went down and these things happen, you know, suddenly you're writing something together and it was totally spontaneous. It certainly wasn't planned. It was peculiar. Queen's drummer Roger Taylor said that the spontaneity was the result of alcohol consumption. He thinks that they were all drunk and in the studio and they were just having fun playing all sorts of old songs. He remembers a couple of old Cream songs and whatever came into their heads. And David was like, hang on a minute, why don't we write one of our own? From there, Brian May says it was bassist John Deacon who first came up with the song's unforgettable riff and kept playing it over and over. Problem, though, Taylor said, is that everyone got hungry and went for pizza, and by the time they got back to the song, Deacon had forgotten what he'd come up with. So it was eventually Taylor who'd remembered it, and Queen and Bowie got back to work creating the song from there. And by that time, David was very impassioned with it. He had a vision in his head, according to May. And when the song was released in 81, it gave Queen their second UK #1, and it was a massive success worldwide. So, yeah, you guys, I just thought when I saw that article, I was like, yeah, I'm going to include that in today's edition of Alter News because I love Queen. Queen is one of my favourite bands in the whole wide world. I actually have a tattoo of part of the Queen insignia crest on the bottom of my back. That is how much of a fan I am of Queen. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like one of like Queen's well-known songs, and it came because they were all drunk. I just thought that was so freaking funny. But my favourite Queen song of all time is "Don't Stop Me Now." It is. Yeah. I love the tune. I just love the fact of like, you know, just you don't stop me now. Like I'm carrying on. I'm gonna ram through every single blockade that you've got. Don't stop me now. Hell yeah! Like, oh yeah, it's so freaking empowering, and I can listen to that song over and over again and be absolutely freaking like happy with that. What do you guys say though? Bunda says from earlier on of what we were discussing, just duct tape the screen down. Before I took it to Ice Smash, I actually did that. I did that and it didn't work. It still lifted up and the screen still got really dodgy. So there you go. One Show says "Don't Stop Me Now" is his favourite too. Yes. Okay. James Tyler says Radio Gaga. That's a good one. Matthew says there's so many great songs. I agree. Bunda says Bohemian Rhapsody. He says he knows that's a cop-out, but he really doesn't like their catalogue. That's fair enough. A lot of people like Bohemian Rhapsody and that's their favourite Queen song, but there's a reason for that. It's a freaking awesome song. Like, seriously, Bohemian Rhapsody, I have so many good memories of that song. Like, when I was 16, 17 years old and I was in your equivalent of, let's say, high school, we had, like, this, it's shut down now, but this rock club back in the day. And whenever Bohemian Rhapsody came on, we would all kind of form a circle, start singing the song, and we're swaying like this, and we're having a good time. And then as soon as the guitar riff comes in, we break off the circle and we just completely mosh out. Like, seriously, great memories of that song. Absolutely. Philip the Fool says Killer Queen. Nice. Dynamite with a laser beam anytime. Yes. Bunda says Steph, get a Limp Bizkit tattoo over my dead freaking body, dude, but I appreciate the suggestion. Hasta says Don't Stop Me Now as well. Yes. And Matthew Coburn says tied with Princes of the Universe and Gimme the Prize. Ooh, so you're proper like Highlander. And Flash Gordon era there. Interesting. But Hasta says that there are too many great songs. There are. Absolutely. But yeah, that was a fun one. And if you guys are watching live or you are watching on the replay and you've got this far and you're thinking, I'm liking what I'm seeing here, I'd like to have some more, please. Well, wouldn't look have it. Subscribe to join the Alter Nerd tribe. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Just spread the word. We want this Alter Nerd tribe and the community to grow even more because you know what? Like Matthew Coburn says, the A-Up invasion is just a starting, you guys. And hopefully, I'm not going to say too much, but next week, we might have a little bit of a celebration going on, you guys, for our Alter Nerd tribe. I'm not going to say anything more than that. But we might be getting next stage YouTube level legit. in a massive way. So stay tuned. But Hasta then says there's a reason that Queen is still remembered. The songs were timeless. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I have all their albums. I have all their live DVDs, all their live albums. Like, I am a massive, massive, massive Queen fan. And before I even found Alter Bridge, they were my favourite band, Queen. Alter Bridge, I'm sorry, but Alter Bridge are now my favourite band in the whole wide world. Queen is a very, very close second, but there you go. But anyways, shall we get on to the next article? And I all hear you saying, yes, Steph, so let's do it. The next article, all about X-Men, and apparently a cameo is rumoured in Doctor Strange 2. And according to BGR.com, and the writer of this article, Chris Smith, you won't believe who it is. Well, let's find out together. Who is this X-Men? Oh my God. Seriously, I swear, guys, I completely fail as a nerd. I know this. I know, right? But anyways, let's see who this X-Men cameo potentially is for Doctor Strange 2. So, Marvel rumours, they're not confirming any leaks whatsoever. But some of the early leaks for Doctor Strange 2 is that Wanda would be one of the film's villains, if not the main villain. And it's saying Wanda becoming a witch puts her on a collision course with Strange, who's the overseer of Earth's reality. Not having Strange or Wong show up in WandaVision was one of the writer's biggest disappointments. When you're dealing with magic, you have to bring on the Avengers wizards to help, but I digress. There was actually a planned scene for Doctor Strange to actually be included in WandaVision, but they decided not to do that in the end. And we all know that the showrunner, the last that was in charge of WandaVision, hadn't read a freaking comic book in her life for Marvel, so had no clue or idea really of the source material, which goes a long way for me to explain how WandaVision was a total pile of shiz in the end, right? You may like it, and that's absolutely fair enough. Your prerogative, your whatever. But for me, I hated WandaVision and still do with a passion. But here we go. Daniel Richtman tweeted out, in Doctor Strange 2, Wanda will fight someone from the Foxverse. He's not allowed to reveal who it is, but could top this fight. So this is something that he tweeted out just a couple of days ago on August the 26th. Now, Daniel Richtman, I've learned that sometimes he's on the money and other times he's not. So I suppose take this with a pinch of salt. But essentially, what the article's saying here is that if he's accurate, then Marvel's going to bring someone over from the Fox Marvel movies. Makes sense because A, it's the multiverse, and B, Marvel already did it. Evan Peters played Wanda's brother in WandaVision after playing Quicksilver in Fox's universe. Yeah, we know how that freaking turned out. Indeed, as the author says there. But reacting to Rickman's tweet, a writer for the _GWW said it's not Jean Grey who faces Wanda in the sequel. He then said in a later comment that it's not going to be Magneto either. So it's not Jean Grey. It's not Magneto. Separately, viewer Anon said that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine was supposed to fight Wanda in Multiverse of Madness, but it didn't happen. Previous Doctor Strange 2 cameo rumours did name Wolverine. Now, not a chance. Not a chance in hellness is Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. Like, seriously, to be fair, if he does, I will be pleasantly surprised and I will admit that I'm wrong. But at this point, not a freaking chance in hell is he coming back as Wolverine. He's done with Wolverine. Hello, Logan, anybody? dude, like, multiverse is not going to be fixing that. If it does and it retcons that thing, oh my goodness, we got even bigger problems, Marvel. Bigger problems. But anyway, let's go back to the article, shall we? Apparently the Illuminati might appear in the sequel. Oh my goodness. Gets better, doesn't it? Unsurprisingly, more people started talking about the Doctor Strange cameos, revealing exciting tidbits about the film in the process. The sequel will introduce the Illuminati, a Marvel team of superheroes that appeared in other rumours. According to the same viewer anon, the Multiverse of Madness has the following Illuminati team: Professor X, Captain Carter, Balder the Brave, Monica Rambeau, and Mordo. I can kind of see that. As we're going through this article and the rest of it, the question I have for the chat for you to answer is, if you had the power of Feige and you could cast any X-Men to appear in Doctor Strange 2 and face off Wanda, who would you cast and why? Let me know in the chat as we continue with this article. So, apparently, Haley Atwell's Captain Carter from What If might indeed appear in the MCU movies down the road. Secondly, Professor X is precisely the kind of X-Men member who could go head-to-head with Wanda, according to this article. I don't think so, but there you go. But Professor X is, of course, Charles Xavier. We've had two actors play it, Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. They don't have an idea, though, of who would play him, if it would be Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy. Do you know what? I think it would be James McAvoy. If they're going to choose between James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart, I think they'll go to James McAvoy on that one. I really, really do. But apparently this is their first scoop. Movie scope. Doctor Strange is in the Multiverse of Madness. So there you go. Variety writer Chris Tapley hinted on Twitter that Stewart is returning to his Xavier role. But I don't... Again... I mean, I adore Patrick Stewart. He comes from my part of the world, to be fair. He's a Yorkshire man, thorough and bred. Dude, he's like... He's one of my peoples, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I just see it being more James McAvoy being in it rather than Stewart. But either way, if they do have Professor X in and they choose from either of those actors, I'd be happy with either one, in all honesty. In other tweets, viewer Anon said that Wanda would fight Xavier and Captain Carter in Doctor Strange 2. But could these rumours be accurate? In a nutshell, no. They are just rumours. They are not confirmed. This is just pure speculation. Again, Daniel Rickman sometimes gets it right, but sometimes gets it wrong. So I would say with this, treat it as a pinch of salt indeed. For me, if it was any X-Men, if I had the power of Feige, right, and I could cast anyone from X-Men to face off Wanda, who would I choose? Oh, do you know what? I'd say Storm. Storm is for me. Yes, Storm. You could go with the obvious Jean Greys, Professor X, all that lot, but I to me it's like they're for me boring choices. In my opinion, the boring, the safe options, in my humble opinion, my theory, my whatever. For me, I think it would be really interesting to see a Storm Wanda kind of mash up, and for them to kick two bells of shiz out of each other in their own way. Like, oh my goodness, you got Storm, like the power of the freaking weather in her hands, and she kind of like gets lightning and going down from skies and completely zapping Wanda, and Wanda like, oh yes, that's a fight that I want to see. Wanda versus Storm. What are you guys, though, saying in the chat? Let's have a look. I'm just going to scroll up a little bit here. Funny Pump says he loved Bohemian Rhapsody, but the film took too many story liberties and gave an improper telling of their story. Yes. There were bits that were dramatised. There were bits that it happened, but not in the order that it happened. But, and it's a big but, it was a movie. There's a little bit of artistic license that goes along with making a movie. For me, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. And it was one of those movies where I literally, like, I had to see that at the IMAX. Because I knew they were going to, like, have scenes where they were performing at concerts and all that lot. And I thought, the biggest screen possible, I need my eyeballs to see that on. Especially, like, the Live Aid bit that they did. Which, dude, they did it shot for freaking shot. Have you seen that YouTube video where it's literally side by side? You've got the original Live Aid performance and the Bohemian Rhapsody version. Shot for shot, like, oh my goodness, the mastery of it all. I impressed indeed I was. Did a little bit of a Yoda thing there, didn't I? Moving swiftly on. Bunda, boo, Alter Bridge. Thanks. Matthew Coburn, boo, NDA Park. Oh! Now I get it. Oh my goodness. I that was a big fail. Boonda Park. Now I get it. Today's stream, you know what? My brain kind of opened up my skull and just walked out the front door and was like, bye Felicia on the way out as it shut the front door. Like, seriously, I'm running on like one brain cell right now because that's all it would leave me in its mercy. James Tyler says, my thoughts are Daniel Rickman is a lying sack of shiz and no one should pay attention to him. When people call him out, he deletes his tweets and move on like nothing happens. Yeah, that element of him I don't agree with, but he's got some things right and he's got some things wrong. So there is that. Funny Pump says Apocalypse, especially since that actor who played Apocalypse is also playing Moon Knight. I can't remember his name. Ooh, Jason Isaacs. Isn't it Jason Isaacs? Have I just completely made up a name? Well, that's definitely not Jason Isaacs. Sorry. Hang on. Moon Knight. I get mixed up with names like all the freaking time. Oscar Isaac. There you go. James Isaac. I don't know where I got the James from. Oscar Isaac. Yeah. James Tyler says, doesn't mean that there can't be any craziness in Doctor Strange 2, but Daniel is a swindler. James Tyler says also, it wouldn't be a retcon thing with the multiverses that you can write off the Wolverine we see in Doctor Strange 2 as just another version and not the one from Logan. But that's my whole issue with the whole multiverse thing in the first place. Everything that's happened beforehand, there's no stakes anymore because it can just be explained as multiverse. Like, you know, the whole... You know, whenever I say multiverse, do you know what I've got in my head, you guys? Multipass. And if you don't get that reference, then oh my goodness, what are you doing with your lives? Get your eyeballs on The Fifth Element immediately. But yeah, I'm yet to see really how it all plays out, I suppose, this multiverse situation, but I don't like the idea of it for a story. Wancho says, just let huge jacked man eat pasta in peace, folks. He's been a wonderful Wolverine, but it's time to move on. Also, I'd give him Deadpool. Yes. James Tyler says, it would be Fassbender. Technically, it's all canon under the multiverse, so why not have Fassbender interact with Olsen? That's an interesting one. Magneto. Yeah. Very interesting. All right. I could possibly get on board with that. Bunda says he would cast the deformed Deadpool from the Wolverine movie. No. Wolverine Origins does not exist in this timeline, dude. Move on. Philip the Fool. Toscano. I would cast Storm because she's one of the leaders of the X-Men and she's never been done properly before. I would cast Janelle Monáe to play her. Ooh. So you agree with me on the Storm situation, but Janelle Monáe to play her? That would be freaking interesting. Yeah, I can get on board with that. Hasta says, I'm too deep into Doctor Strange lore to know how this plays out. Well, no spoilers then. Thank you very much, Hasta. James Tyler says it's a shame we'll never have Storm interact with T'Challa in the comics. They get married. Oh, okay. I didn't know that one. That's interesting to know. Funny Pump. If I was Feige, I would pick Legion Professor's ex-son so he can melt her brain and get no more WandaVision TV shows. Well, to be fair, if that kind of results in no more WandaVision TV shows, then Funny Pump, I'm on board with that idea. Absolutely. Hasta, did Psylocke die in Endgame? As far as I know, yeah. Phil says that would be awesome, Steph. Yeah, I know. James Tyler says WandaVision was envisioned as a one season show. Technically, Doctor Strange 2 is season 2. Where they go with her after that, who knows? No. Doctor Strange is not WandaVision. Doctor Strange is Doctor Strange. Okay? None of this WandaVision madness. WandaVision season 1. That happened. That's it. Like, no more. No. Don't give me nightmares, dude. I don't like that. Hasta says, to be honest, I'm kind of checked out too. Yeah. Yes, Hasta gets it. Lilu Dallas, multipass. Yes. Love it, Hasta. You know, you're impressing me more and more, dude. I'm liking it. Matthew Coburn, I don't want anyone from the Fox films. Deadpool is the only exception. I'm not adverse for anyone from the Fox film franchise to come over. Deadpool is the big one that I'd want to. Absolutely. If they only could choose one from the Fox situation, Deadpool. Absolutely Deadpool. But if I had the power of Feige, it would be more than that. But anyways, with that being said, before we get on to the final article of today's Alter News stream, if you are watching and you haven't done so already, whether you're watching live or you are on the replay, subscribe to join the Alter Nerd tribe, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And let's get on to the final article of today's stream. This one's from The Hollywood Reporter. So, yeah, Jessica Chastain says makeup for the eyes of Tammy Faye has done permanent damage to her skin. Yes, apparently makeup has damaged her skin. How has this happened? Well, according to Chastain, she says that while the actress says she eats very pure and takes care of her skin, I don't know what that means. Like, what does eating very pure mean? Let me know, guys, in the chat, because I'm just not, like, eating very pure. Like, what the deuce, right? Anyways, going back to it. She eats very pure, she takes care of her skin. The makeup was heavy and stretched out her skin. When you're wearing it all day, every day, the weight of it on your body, it stretches your skin out. Chastain said before joking, I finally took it off and I was like, I look 50 years old. She said, ultimately it was fine because it's for my art. But the very first test she did with all her makeup on still freaked her out and made her question whether she would be able to act while underneath it all. People think it's easier, but it's not. You've got to reach through the makeup. You can't let the makeup be the performance. She was so emotional, and I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to get emotional with all this stuff all over me. Am I going to be able to see people and feel free? I just had to get used to it. So much for me is I have to trick my mind. She was in the makeup chair for 7.5 hours. On one particular day, and after that she said that she was panicky, afraid, and experiencing hot flashes because what she was wearing was so heavy and hot. She said she had no energy left when she got to set that day, which became a slight issue for her as Faye was supposed to show up with so much energy. It was like going on a long distance flight every day because it takes 7.5 hours to put on, but it's going to take at least 2 hours to get off. It was concerning to me. I was worried about my circulation, she said. That's the most prosthetics I've worn. Even the bronze and the foundation are so much darker. The lashes are thicker. The makeup gets heavier as she gets older. So, yeah, dudes. Chastain had makeup on a set. And she's saying it's done permanent damage to her skin. Wow. Why? Why would she say that? Like, seriously, like, she's probably got enough money to reverse that damage in some sort of way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just thought, reading that article, it was so strange because I'm like, well, makeup's supposed to enhance, right? Or transform in the sense of Jessica Chastain, right? If it's actually done permanent damage to her skin, then no disrespect, but for me, I'd be like getting my lawyers on the phone and being like, dude, my face is pretty much my business and they've done permanent damage to my skin because of all this makeup. So I want to sue their backsides. Like, seriously, like, please, if you have an answer in the chat, let me know. What is the point of Jessica Chastain doing an interview where she is announcing that the prosthetics and the makeup of that film damaged her skin? Why announce that to the world? What purpose? What outcome would she want from announcing that to the world? Because again, if I was an actress and that happened to me, I won't be talking to Hollywood Reporter about it. I'd be on the phone to me lawyer on speed dial, press 1. Lawyer, they've screwed up my face. My face is my business. Sue their backsides for everything that they're worth. Laters, phone down, and let the lawyer do the situation, right? I'm like, what? Seriously, you know? Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Bunda says very pure means she only eats American food and not fake, nasty European food. I got a funny feeling that you're trolling me there, Bunda. Funny Pump says eating pure, aka drink the blood of that, okay? And eating unborn people and daily sacrifices, the usual Hollywood stuff. Okay, I'm not going to take that seriously, but I appreciate the comment there, Funny Pump. Bunda says American #1. UK #1, dude. You have Biden as a president, I'm just saying. Funny Pump, did they have a before and after so we can see the damage? No. We don't have a before and after. And to be fair, do you know what? You saying that has got another thought in my head. I think she might be over-exaggerating, you know, guys. Think about it, right? It might be like the smallest, right, of damage to her skin, right? But she's being over-dramatic about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be like one little wrinkle or something that could be easily sorted in this day and age, right? It's like, no, this makeup caused permanent damage to my skin. Oh my goodness. And it could be like one small little imperfection caused by the makeup and the prosthetics. Like, it could just be that. So if you see a before and after, for us, the untrained eye, would be like, so what? Like, where's the difference last? Like, what damage? Do you know what I mean? So Yeah, that thought just came into my head there. So there you go. Share and share alike. Funny Pump says she wants more money. Hasta says compensation. Pure and simple compensation. Well, yeah, and that goes back to my earlier original point. What is the whole deuce of speaking to Hollywood Reporter and not kind of dealing with it behind closed doors with the lawyers? Like, what? Sorry, allergies. It's like, seriously, it's freaking ridiculous. It's like, what? Like, it's literally probably like the smallest little damage. And she's... Sorry, again, that time of year, allergies and all that. As soon as I start sneezing, it's like a couple in succession and then it stops. There you go. Anyway, moving swiftly on. It's like probably the smallest freaking imperfection ever known to mankind. And she's like, no, my skin is now damaged. Ah. Freaking first world problems, love. What the deuce? Anyways, I've been put... when I'm sneezing, I'm muting myself, so I'm not sneezing in your ear holes. I'm considerate that way, guys. Phil says, reporter probably got comfortable and they were just chatting, and that was one of 100 things that was said, but that gets the headline. Possibly. Yeah. Bunda says, considering the shiz show Biden has handled, he's doing an excellent job. He's not letting us in. He is not letting us English folk in. He ain't doing an excellent job, dude. Once he starts letting us in, then I'll be like, yay, Biden. Until then, I'm like, boo, Biden. Right? Funny Pump says, if you sue, you could lose. So she's going the route of creating drama so they can get hush money and it's handled out of court. Ooh. Now that is an interesting theory. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, dude. Absolutely. One show says like, oh no, a dry spot under my eye. My career is over. I know, right? Like, seriously, ridiculous. Oh, I'm getting bless yous from you all now. One show, Funny Pump. James Tyler, bless your face, Stefania Amore, dear friends. Well, my family's not from Friends, but okay. I appreciate your sentiment, James. Thank you. James Tyler says, given how shallow Hollywood could be, her career could be over. Oh yeah. Tell me the last movie that she was in that was actually a success, both critically and commercially. It's been a while. The movie that was released on Netflix, was it Netflix? Can't remember what it's called now. It was a spy movie situation going on, and it had John Malkovich in it. I liked it, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't talked about that much, or much of a success in that regard. Hasta says, I feel you, allergies are I presume you're supposed to say, you wanted to say biatch there. Yeah, I know, tell me about it. And like, if I'm outside and I sneeze all of a sudden, everyone's kind of looking at me being like, Bud Light, Bud Light, Bud Light. No, it's not Bud Light, dude, it's just allergies. Bunda says, if I were president, I would not let anyone in. And I agree with Wancho. Good thing you ain't president then, eh, Bunda? Absolutely. Hasta says, I didn't clarify how she would be compensated. Hush money would be the logical way. And Wancho says, wasn't she the alien weirdo in X-Men Dark Phoenix? Yes. And we all know how X-Men Dark Phoenix went down. Like a sack of lead balloons, that movie. So yeah. We don't like that movie. Philip Toscano. She was very memorable as a villain in that last X-Men movie. I can't remember her name, but she was memorable. Yeah, but the film itself wasn't a success, right? You can say that she was good all day long, but the movie wasn't a success, and her name was attached to it. So, yeah, and I don't think this film, this whole The Eyes of Tammy Faye situation, I don't think it's going to do well. I really don't. I don't feel or hear any buzz about it. I really, really don't. And the only reason I know about this film is because of this whole BS that she's talking about with permanent damage to her skin. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know the existence of this film situation that's going on right now. So take that as you will. You guys, we're going to be wrapping up shortly. But if you have any questions for me and ask me anything little segment, then in the live chat, pop them in. Any question at all, you have the freedom of choice. It's my freedom whether to answer them or not, mind you, but you got your freedom of speech. Ask me anything if you would like. But we're going to wind down now because it's nearly 9:20 in the evening. But next week, you've got to look forward to the Marvel rant. Oh, yeah, that Alter rant is coming. That's going to get filmed tomorrow. You've got a new edition of Alter Philosophy and Alter Reality next Saturday. As long as everything goes according to plan, there'll be another live watch party stream for Cobra Kai Season 2, and we'll pick up where we left off there. And this time next week, your regular edition of Alter News, discussing alternative news from pop culture and the internet. Yes. And hopefully next week sometime, I hope next week, if it all gets fixed, because there's a little bit of an issue at the moment, but if it gets fixed, there's going to be a big, massive announcement, guys, for the Alter Nerd tribe. So, yeah, if it all goes according to plan, stay tuned. Easiest way to stay tuned is subscribing to join the Alter Nerd tribe. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff. Also, make sure the notification bell is turned on so you know every single time I upload another video. Another way that you can keep in touch with me and keep on board with everything going on is Twitter and Instagram. Both the same, at Stef The Alter Nerd. You get to know a little bit more about the behind the scenes situation of what's going on with me. You get to know me a little bit more. I've been uploading a lot more on Instagram with a lot of posts. So do check me out there. Let's see what the chat's saying before we go. Funny Pump. What do the British eat as far as daily meals? Well, it depends really where you are in England. So you probably may need to Google some of this, what I'm about to say. But Yorkshire puddings, we like in my neck of the woods. Toad in the hole, what we like. What else? Mashed potatoes, Sunday roast. We love a Sunday roast. So roast chicken with potatoes and veg. Nice traditional English meal there for a Sunday. We like chicken. We love chicken. Fish and chips. Fish and chips is a big one. Fish and chips. We like that. But our culture's kind of evolved in the sense of that we've got a lot more variety and a lot more accessibility to different other cultures and food. So where I live in particular, there is a big, massive, strong Asian community, and we have some of the best curry houses ever. It is untrue. Now, I can't eat spicy food because it irritates my pancreas to no end. Plus, as well, to be fair, even before my pancreas, I didn't really like spicy food anyway. I just can't handle any spice. But a korma without any spices in it whatsoever, which is basically I don't know, cream and like coconut and cream or something along those lines. I don't know. But anyway, a korma without any spices whatsoever, chicken korma with rice and chapatis. Oh, yes, that is my jam when I go to a curry house. Absolutely adore that. And I love sushi. Sushi is my jam of all jams. Raw fish, I can eat. I don't like a squid, octopus, those kinds of fish. Food is just not my thing at all, but everything else. Oh, yeah. I'm also Italian as well, so, you know, I'll have my lasagnas, calzones, pizza, pastas, all that malarkey as well, to be fair. So when you ask what do the British eat as far as daily meals, yeah, a variety of pretty much everything these days, but there you go. But Hasta says he's having bangers and mash tonight. Hey, some bangers and mash. I like that. I like that a lot. I like bangers and mash, but I like to have the mash and like, how do I put this? Have mash. You make yourself some mash, and when you mash it up with like butter. So you mix the mash with the butter, and then if you like boil some like peas and carrots and chop up the carrots, and then mix the peas and the carrots into the mash, and then have the bangers to the side. Now that's some bangers and mash, dude. Oh yeah, I can eat that. One Show says, what do you know about the Metal Gear Solid video game and the movie in development starring Oscar Isaac and directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts? I don't know that much about Metal Gear Solid, and the only reason why is because it's a first person. I'm sure it is. It's first person. I won't know much about it at all. Hang on. First. Yeah. So yeah, because I had to Google it to make sure that I remembered it right. Because Metal Gear Solid game is first person, I know nothing about it. First person games, they hurt my eyes. They give me headaches. I don't know why. I found it out when I was very, very young. When the Nintendo 64 came out and there was GoldenEye, the GoldenEye game. I adore that GoldenEye game, right? But I couldn't play it because it was first person and it hurt my eyes and it gave me headaches. And at that point, I understood and I learned that first person just does not do it for me visually. It just hurts me. One Show says it's actually third person. Why is it on Google then saying that it's first person, dude? I'll look into it then. What? One Show, DM me afterwards, because on Google it's saying that it's first person. Because I do like a nice shooter. A Metal Gear Solid looks like a really, really cool one to have. Very, very violent as well, which you know that is my jam. But I've always been told, and I Googled it, that it was first person. Can you... Is there a mod where you can have it third person? DM me. Because if that's the case, that's going to change my life a little bit for my gaming. That'd be awesome. But first person games, can't deal with. Is the moral of that story there. Matthew says he's going to have a roast tonight. Hey. Bunda says if I can't eat spicy food, then what's the point? Well, I don't know. That is something that you may have to figure out yourself on a spirit quest. Good luck to you. Funny Pump says, thank you for the sponsor. You are very welcome. Hey, Hosea's in the house. Sup, Stefania. Hey up, Hosea. How's it going, mate? Funny Pump says he's not a big Metal Gear person. Fair enough. Wancho says that facial expression was all the answer I needed. Yeah. I'm not, you know what? When it comes to movies based on games, the majority of them fall flat. They don't translate well, okay? There's only a rare few that actually do, right? So, even though I don't know a lot about it, knowing that there's a film being made based on a well-known game franchise, the odds are not in their favor. Come on, like, seriously. Philip the Fool, Philip Toscano says, what is my favorite game right now? Oh. Dude, you're probably going to laugh at me for this one. There was recently a updated like version of Alex Kidd in Miracle World that was released on Steam. It's probably released on other platforms as well. But I've been playing that, and that's my favorite game right now at the moment. I'm very much like a retro gamer in that sense. I am getting into more like up to date kind of games, don't get me wrong, but retro gaming at my heart. And yeah, that this updated version with the updated graphics and the layout and everything, yeah, I'm enjoying Alex Kidd in Miracle World updated version at the moment. I'm still screaming out for the day that they remaster Ocarina of Time, because that needs to be done. Hello. But until then, we've got what we've got. Before that, I was playing Pokemon Blue. Oh, yeah, I know, proper retro, right? No, you're not even any colour in it at all, retro. But yeah, and I'm still playing that. I've paused on it, and gone to Alex Kidd in Miracle World. But yeah, that's pretty much my favourites right now. Matthew Coburn says Little Caesars Pizza has calzone pizza in one. Pardon spelling on my phone right now. Hey, that's all good. Don't worry about it. One show says you can switch between first and third. That's why. Damn it. Yeah, I need to get onto that. Metal Gear Solid. If I can... Right, that's why I saw a lot of it being just first person. Damn it. Maybe there's a lot of like... Oh. Do you know what? My whole like handle on reality at the moment is like non-existent when it comes to games, because it's like every game that I think is first person, is there now an option to transfer it to third person? Like, what the deuce? Like, seriously? Like, you're not? So, one shot, I'm going to be speaking to you afterwards, because there's some games that I also want to play as well that I believe are first person, that when I've Googled it has said it's first person. So if you don't mind, I will be in contact with you on the DMs, and so you can point me in the right direction, because you guys on the Ravens flock, you do your Los Amigos play live every Saturday. And I love it when you guys play that. I know this week Angel wasn't around, so you weren't able to do that, which was a shame. And I look forward to it happening next week, if it's coming back next week. But yeah, like, oh my goodness, you guys know you're gaming a lot more than me. So yeah, I may have to call upon your expertise, pretty please, for that one. But anyways, what else are you guys saying? Philip saying Pokemon Blue was my first Pokemon game on original Game Boy. My first game on original Game Boy was Tetris. It was. And I literally clocked Tetris so many times it was untrue, but I really did like that game. And Pokemon, the only reason, because I had Pokemon Blue when I was young. I didn't have Pokemon Red or the Pokemon Yellow that then came out afterwards. I had Pokemon Blue. The only reason I had Pokemon Blue was where I used to live at the time. There was a field like in the housing estate that I lived back then, and me and, you know, the kids within that area, we'd always, you know, sometimes we'd congregate on that field and we'd play like football or whatever, hide and seek, that kind of thing, or just hang out and chat. And for some reason, one day I was on that field with them all, and I looked down and I saw this Pokemon Blue cartridge, Game Boy cartridge game. And I picked it up and I was like, yoink, finders keepers. And so, yeah, my Pokemon adventure started with finding a Pokemon Blue game on the ground of a field in a housing estate. So, yeah, that was that. Hasta says they remastered Ocarina on 3DS. Yes, they did. But no. The 3DS is one thing, but I want the Ocarina of Time remastered for full HD screen situation. Not a little mini 3DS, crappy little shitty little mini screen situation. I don't want that. I want the full freaking experience on my computer screen or on my TV downstairs. So yeah, I appreciate they remastered it on 3DS, but I don't think it's good enough. And they've dropped the ball early. Oh my goodness, I'm ranting now. They dropped the freaking ball earlier on this year. For Zelda's 35th anniversary, right? Everyone in the Zelda community, including me, was screaming. We knew that they were going to remaster some Zelda properties and that they were going to upgrade them, right? We were screaming. We were saying for years, and we're still saying it even now, Nintendo, you seriously remaster Ocarina of Time. Get it done. People are doing it on Unreal Engine, and seriously, what's coming out of people's creativity for that is amazing. Remaster Ocarina of Time, and the 35th anniversary came along, and they're remastering some of the Zelda properties, just not the one that we want, which is freaking Ocarina of Time. Like, seriously, if the people are saying we want to give you money, remaster Ocarina of Time, we give you money for this, come on. Like, seriously, why aren't they listening to that? My goodness, that if they ever did that and they released it, like, dude, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it right now, and it's probably hyperbole, it would break so many freaking records, yeah? That the world would probably freaking explode, and that it would be that big and massive. So, yeah, rant over. I don't even know how I got onto that rant in the end, but there you go. Oh yeah, Pastor says they remastered Ocarina on 3DS. There we go. So yes, thank you for your comment, Pastor. I hope you enjoyed that rant. Wancho says, start with the first game from PlayStation 1 if you can. It's a classic. I can do that. Funny Pump says, God of War, easily one of the best games in the world. Okay. And Philip the Fool agrees with that and says, my buddy had Pokemon Red and we would trade Pokemon. Classic. Nice. I didn't have anyone to play Pokemon with. So, for me, I just played on my own with my Pokemon, but I was happy with that. So that's all good. And Matthew says, free is always good. Free is always good, isn't it? I absolutely agree with that. But yes, I want to say thank you to everyone that has come and kept me company for this week's edition of Alter News. If you are watching live or on the replay and you haven't done so already, what are you doing with your life? Subscribe to join the Alter Nerd tribe. Like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. I'd like to thank everyone that's joined, especially those in the live chat. So Wancho, Philip Toscano, Funny Pump, Hasta himself was in the house, Hosea, Matthew Coburn, Bunda, otherwise known as Bunda Park. James Tyler, we had you in the house. We had Nerd Report in the house as well. Can't forget Lewis from Nerd Report, dudes. Isholacost came in at one point and said hello. So yes, thank you to everyone, one and all. Stay tuned for next week and more content coming your way. From my imagination to your eyeballs and heels, basically is the plan. Again, as long as it gets fixed, and I can't really say much right now, as long as it gets fixed, we got some big major news for the Alter Nerd tribe next week, if it comes to pass and if it gets fixed. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So if you haven't done so already, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stef The Alter Nerd. Best way to be kept up to date with everything that's going on behind the scenes, and you get to know me a little bit more. I take some pictures of what's going on in my life and where I'm at, and just a little bit more and get to know me situation. So yeah, make sure you're following me on all the socials, and thank you to everyone that joined. This has been your weekly edition of Alter News, and until the next time, you guys, laters.